In 1958, the Soviet Union deployed the Golf-class, Project 629, the world's first operational ballistic missile submarines. These 2,800-ton diesel-electric boats carried 3 R-13 missiles launched from the surface while at periscope depth. 23 Golfs were built between 1958 and 1962, serving primarily in the Pacific Fleet. While primitive compared to nuclear boats, they gave the USSR its first sea-based deterrent and provided crucial operational experience. One Golf, K-129, was lost in the Pacific in 1968 and partially recovered by the CIA in the classified Project Azorian operation. In 1960, the United States changed the course of nuclear strategy with the George Washington-class, the world's first true nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines. These 6,700-ton vessels, converted from attack submarines, carried 16 Polaris A-1 missiles and could strike targets thousands of miles away while remaining hidden beneath the waves. Their rapid development was a direct response to the Soviet missile threat, and their quiet patrols beneath the Atlantic and Pacific established the model for sea-based deterrence that would define the Cold War. The Soviet Union's Hotel I-class, Project 658, also launched in 1960, marked the USSR's entry into nuclear-powered sea-based deterrence. At 5,000 tons, these submarines carried 3 R-13 missiles in vertical launch tubes behind the sail. The hotels were noisy and limited in range, but they gave the Soviets their first nuclear second strike capability. Their rushed development reflected the urgency of the nuclear arms race, and their patrols in the Barents and Arctic seas were fraught with risk and technical challenge. The Ethan Allen class arrived in 1961, representing the first US submarines purpose-built for ballistic missiles. At 7,900 tons, these boats introduced the Polaris A-2, offering greater range and accuracy. Their design included enhanced quieting and survivability, making them harder to detect and more reliable on extended patrols. The Ethan Allens set a new standard for operational reach, and their presence on station extended the US Navy's nuclear umbrella across the globe. Hotel II-class, Project 658M submarines, entered service in 1963 as a rapid upgrade, replacing the original missiles with the longer-range R-21, which could be launched while submerged. This improvement allowed the Soviets to keep pace with American advances, but the hotels remained vulnerable to detection and mechanical failure. Their patrols were a high-stakes gamble in the early years of undersea deterrence, and the lessons learned would shape all future Soviet designs. Lafayette-class submarines entered service in 1963, with 9 strict Lafayette-class boats built as part of the larger 41 for Freedom program that included 31 hulls total across related variants. Displacing 8,250 tons, they carried the Polaris A-3 and later Poseidon C-3 missiles, with improved launch systems and better crew accommodations for months-long patrols. The Lafayette's global presence ensured that American nuclear forces could survive any first strike, anchoring the doctrine of mutually assured destruction. The James Madison class, introduced in 1964, refined the Lafayette design with quieter machinery and advanced navigation. These 8,250-ton submarines carried Poseidon and later Trident I missiles, extending range and warhead capacity. The James Madisons patrolled the world's oceans, their silent presence a constant reminder of the stakes of nuclear conflict. Their upgrades kept them relevant until the arrival of the next generation. Benjamin Franklin-class submarines, entering service in 1965, brought further advances in stealth and reliability as the last of the 41 for freedom. At 8,250 tons, they carried Poseidon and later Trident I missiles, with enhanced machinery quieting and improved crew accommodations. These boats marked the end of the first generation of American SSBNs, just as the next leap in capability was on the horizon. Britain's Resolution-class entered service in 1967, bringing the United Kingdom into the nuclear deterrent club. These 8,400-ton boats carried 16 Polaris missiles and were designed for extended patrols in the North Atlantic. The Resolution-class gave Britain an independent second strike capability, anchoring its strategic posture for decades. Their quiet patrols beneath the waves were a cornerstone of NATO's nuclear umbrella. The Yankee-class, Project 667A, marked a major leap for the Soviet Navy when it entered service in 1967. At 9,300 tons submerged, these submarines carried 16 R-27 missiles and could patrol far from home waters. The Yankees became the backbone of the Soviet SSBN fleet, conducting hundreds of patrols in the Atlantic and Pacific. Their presence forced NATO to develop new anti-submarine tactics, escalating the underwater chess match. France's Redoutable-class, launched in 1971, marked the nation's entry into the world of ballistic missile submarines. Displacing 8,000 tons and armed with 16 M1 missiles, these boats provided France with an independent nuclear deterrent. The Redoutable-class was a product of national pride and strategic necessity, patrolling the Atlantic and Mediterranean for over 3 decades. Their design influenced all subsequent French SSBNs. Delta I-class, Project 667B submarines, introduced in 1972, brought the R-29 missile and a larger hull at 10,500 tons surfaced and 13,500 tons submerged. With increased range, Deltas could strike the US from protected bastions near the Soviet coast, allowing for safer patrols under the Arctic ice. Their deployment marked a shift in Soviet doctrine, emphasizing survivability and second strike capability. The Delta's distinctive twin-hull design became a Cold War icon. Delta II-class, Project 667BD, entered service in 1975 as a brief but important evolution, stretching the Delta hull to accommodate 4 additional missiles for a total of 16. These boats, at 11,700 tons, improved Soviet launch capacity but were quickly superseded by more advanced designs. The Delta IIs served as a bridge to the next generation of missile submarines. Delta III-class, Project 667BDR, arrived in 1976, introducing the R-29R missile with multiple independently targetable warheads, MIRVs. These 13,000-ton submarines could deliver a devastating strike from beneath the polar ice, and their improved sonar and quieting measures made them harder to track. The Delta III's patrols in the Arctic became a central pillar of Soviet nuclear strategy, and their longevity was ensured by multiple refits and upgrades. The Ohio-class entered service in 1981, setting a new standard for ballistic missile submarines. With 24 Trident missiles and 18,700-ton displacement, these boats can remain submerged for months, patrolling undetected across the world's oceans. Their modular design allows for conversion to guided missile submarines, extending their service life. The Ohio-class remains the backbone of America's sea-based deterrent, with a reputation for reliability and quiet power. The Typhoon-class, Project 941, also entering service in 1981, stands as the largest submarines ever built, a Cold War colossus at over 48,000 tons submerged. Each Typhoon carried 20 R-39 missiles and could remain hidden beneath the Arctic ice for months. Their double-hull construction and luxurious crew quarters set them apart, but their sheer size made them expensive and complex. Only 6 were completed, and as of 2026, only 1 remains operational, with the others scrapped or converted to other purposes. Delta-4-class, Project 667BDRM, entered service in 1985, representing the peak of Soviet Cold War SSBN design. Displacing over 18,000 tons, these boats initially carried the R-29RM missile, later upgraded to the R-29RMU Sineva with enhanced range and accuracy. Delta-4s featured advanced quieting, improved crew accommodations, and the ability to launch from beneath Arctic ice. They remain in active service with the Russian Navy today, their ongoing upgrades ensuring continued relevance. China's Type 092 Jia class, first deployed in 1987, was the country's initial foray into sea-based nuclear deterrence. At around 8,000 tons, the Jia carried 12 JL-1 missiles, but suffered from technical and reliability issues. The submarine's limited range and noisy operation restricted its effectiveness, but it marked a crucial step in China's nuclear modernization and paved the way for more advanced designs. The United Kingdom's Vanguard class entered service in 1993, replacing the Resolution boats with a new generation of stealth and firepower. These 15,900-ton submarines carry 16 Trident II missiles and feature advanced quieting technology. The Vanguard class ensures Britain's continuous at-sea deterrent, with at least one boat always on patrol. Their design reflects lessons learned from decades of Cold War experience. France's Triomphant class, launched in 1997, brought a leap in capability to the French deterrent. Displacing 14,300 tons and carrying 16 M45 or M51 missiles, these submarines are among the quietest in the world. The Triomphant class represents the culmination of French engineering, with improved survivability and global reach. Their patrols maintain France's independent nuclear posture in the 21st century. China's Type 094 Jin class, first deployed in 2004, marked a significant leap in Chinese sea-based nuclear capability. Displacing around 11,000 tons and carrying 12 JL-2 missiles, the Jin class can patrol far from Chinese shores. While not as quiet as Western designs, these submarines represent a major step forward in China's nuclear modernization and have become a key element of Beijing's strategic posture. Borei-class, Project 955 submarines, entered service in 2013, representing Russia's new generation of strategic deterrence. At 24,000 tons, these boats carry 16 Bulava missiles and feature advanced quieting and survivability. The Borei class is designed for extended patrols in the Arctic, ensuring Russia's nuclear deterrent remains credible in the 21st century. Their modern systems and improved crew accommodations reflect decades of technological evolution. Borei A class, Project 955A, entering service in 2014, is an improved variant with further noise reduction, advanced sonar, and enhanced crew comfort. These submarines continue the evolution of Russian sea-based deterrence, reflecting lessons learned from decades of Cold War competition. The Borei A's stealth and survivability make it a formidable component of Russia's strategic arsenal, and their ongoing production signals a long-term commitment to undersea deterrence. India's Arihant class entered service in 2016, giving the country its first credible sea-based nuclear deterrent. These 6,000-ton submarines carry up to 12 K-15 or 4 K-4 missiles, providing a secure second strike capability. The Arihant-class is a product of decades of indigenous development, reflecting India's strategic ambitions and regional security concerns. Their patrols mark India's arrival as a true nuclear triad power. North Korea's Sinpo-class submarine represents the most recent and controversial entry in the world of ballistic missile submarines. First observed around 2016 and displacing around 2,000 tons, the Sinpo is capable of launching at least one ballistic missile. Far less advanced than its global counterparts, the submarine's very existence has altered the strategic calculus in East Asia, demonstrating that sea-based deterrence has spread to even the most isolated nations. The Columbia-class represents the future of American sea-based deterrence, with lead boat USS Columbia, SSBN 826, under construction since 2020. At 20,800 tons, these submarines will carry 16 Trident 2D5LE missiles with improved guidance and warheads. The Columbia-class features electric drive propulsion for quieter operation, X-stern control surfaces for better maneuverability, and a 42-year service life that eliminates mid-life refueling. 12 boats are planned to replace the Ohio-class, with the first entering service around 2031. The United Kingdom's Dreadnought-class, currently under construction, will replace the Vanguard-class as the backbone of Britain's nuclear deterrent. These 17,200-ton submarines will carry Trident II missiles and feature the latest in quieting technology and automation. The Dreadnought-class is expected to enter service in the 2030s, ensuring the UK's continuous at-sea deterrent for decades to come. China's Type 096, a new generation of ballistic missile submarine reportedly under development, is expected to be larger and quieter than the Jin-class, with improved missile range and survivability. Details remain closely guarded, but intelligence assessments suggest a displacement exceeding 14,000 tons, with 16 to 24 JL-3 missiles. The Type 096 signals China's intent to match the world's leading submarine powers and expand its global reach. India's S-5 class, currently in the design phase, is expected to be a much larger and more capable successor to the Arihant. With a planned displacement of over 13,000 tons and the ability to carry significantly more missiles, the S-5 will anchor India's future sea-based deterrent. The program's progress is closely watched by regional rivals, and its completion will mark a new chapter in India's strategic evolution.